Hey, what's up everybody? This is Mage.
And this is Mog.
And today we are doing something that's rather unique. We are casting a replay, however, due to the length of the game and the fact that neither one of us wants to completely lose our voices, or I have to go to bed soon, we have sped it up until we have about a quarter to a fifth of the game left. This is a match from the third round of FML, and it features a lot of really good players. We're going to start at the bottom left here. We have Constrive, who is also known as Duck. He has made it to the finals in FML before and probably would have won a season except for the fact that he disconnected at a really bad time. If we go up top here, we see Renaud. Renaud is a two-time King of Free-For-All winner and a one-time FML champion. He is playing Human, as you can see, and our last player probably needs no introduction. He is the three times FML winner, Magadansky. So as you can see, we've got a bit of a powerhouse cast here. I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit of a rundown on what's happened up until this point, and then Mog and I will go ahead and get this started. So the game started off with Meeds spawning right next to Duck, actually pretty much right in between Duck and Magadansky, with Renaud getting the best spawn spot for hoarding at least. Both Duck and Renaud had a lot of expansions early on. Duck was able to tome tome Meeds at 80 food for a while and got himself up to, I believe, 28,000 gold was his most. Magadansky quickly broke for 80 and started fighting Renaud, but Renaud held off pretty well and actually managed to get himself up to 30,000 gold with all the expansions he had. Meeds was eliminated around the 30-minute mark, and from then on it became the truest sense of the word free-for-all, in that nobody was doing anything particularly intelligent, and they were just hitting each other willy-nilly. This stopped once they realized that Renaud had a lot more gold than them put together, and that Renaud was just taking down their bases very quickly with tanks. If we look over here, this is what remains of Magadansky's natural base, and as you can see, there are only about 10 buildings left here. Renaud was able to take his tanks into it and very quickly demolish most of it, but Magadansky does have a bunch of proxy ziggurats, necropolises, and stuff like that around. He also has a bit of a hidden army here that you can see. Renaud did scout that about a moment prior, so he is not in the dark about it. If we look over at Magadansky's heroes, he's got 766. He does have Death and Decay on his Lich, which has proved to be very advantageous for him so far. Looking over here at Duck, he has the highest level heroes. He's got 1099. When you add in that Panda to the Death and Decay of Lich, it has become very, very good at base killing so far. And speaking of base killing, we're going to go ahead and move ourselves over to Renaud. Renaud has been teamed for about the last 45 minutes to an hour. They haven't been doing a great job of it, but they have taken him out a significant amount of his tower so far. You can see he's done a nice job of keeping most of his buildings in the back here, and he is not in any danger of being base killed immediately, but he does have to start worrying about that. He picked up the Alchemist first, which is a very good hero choice when he's under 50 like this, due to Transmute getting him a lot of gold back. However, he has sorely missed having his Archmage, because this is a pretty good map to use mass teleportation on. At this point, they are still teaming Renaud, but Magadansky is beginning to think that they should start teaming Duck due to the fact that Duck has such strong hero levels. Do you have anything else that you think we should add, Mog, or are you about ready to get the show on the road?
I think you did a pretty good job. That was way better than watching the first 2 hours of the game. So
yeah,
congrats.
We understand that this is somewhat of a daunting replay due to the length of it. So we went ahead and took one for the team, and even though we only watched it at 8 times speed to get to this point, it really did take forever. So I hope I saved you some precious 2 hours of your life there, and we're going to go ahead and get this going in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we do have Duck is going ahead and killing some of Magadansky's extra spots, so extra buildings over here, and this is actually going to make Magadansky somewhat annoyed, I believe. As you can see, every building is coming at a premium for him right now, so if Duck continues to hit Magadansky, I suspect we will see the teaming of Duck very quickly.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I would say Renaud is in a really good position here, even though he's been teamed for a really long time. I mean, he's got a pretty strong base still, his heroes are good, he's got tanks, which I think is probably the most important part at this point, since the other two players have mass air. and tanks are just good in general.
Yep,
So
especially against undead, though. They tear through an undead base. And we are going to have Magadansky come over here and try and take down Duck's heroes, it looks like. So even though I agree with you that I think it's probably strongest right now is Renaud, it does look like we are going to get some infighting between Magadansky and Duck. I like the job that both of them have done with using the Frost Shield on their Death Knights. Those are clearly the hero that you can't afford to lose at this point in the game, and they're making sure that it's hard to take down. We do have Magadansky's Lich is getting pretty low here, and it actually does go down. Nice job by Duck using Cyclone on that Death Knight, so that was a little bit unexpected, but very nice job by Duck, and I suspect that this is going to be all-out war for Magadansky and Duck from here on in, due to the fact that Magadansky probably not going to be happy about this, and Magadansky not even going to be able to get his Death Knight out of this, I don't think. Magadansky's Death Knight does go down, so he is down to a single Dreadlord. Talk about a little bit of excitement to start it off here, and this could be a good game for Magadansky right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of question what Mag was thinking. I mean, you can't really fight hero wars when your heroes are so much lower in level. I mean, and Duck has really good micro, so in small engagements like this, it just didn't seem like a wise move. I think Maga probably didn't expect Duck to fight in there.
Yep, I'd have to agree. I think that he thought Duck was going to back off here. We do have the Dreadlord is over by the market. It does not look like he's going to sell anything off yet. However, he does have what's got to be worth about 350, probably 500 gold of items, so he might be able to tavern a hero later on. He is over 50 right now, so he will probably wait until he goes below 50 to sell anything, though. It does look like he may go ahead and try and suicide Duck here. We do have Renaud going in as well. He has used invisibility on the Paladin. For you human players that are watching, that's a really good trick to do. Alchemist too, because you can get that in for an early transmute, but Duck doing a nice job of keeping that shade there, and now this Alchemist is going to be pretty low. It does manage to get off its Chemical Rage, and that Paladin comes in for the heal. So it doesn't help him out the way that you thought it would, but it's a good idea to do, and a lot of people will be caught off guard by that.
And here comes the tanks, so Duck is in a pretty tough position here. He's got a decent army left, but Gargoyles aren't the best unit versus tanks. Thankfully for him, that level 9 Panda is the best unit, so...
Yeah, certainly a bit of a odd strategy going for the Panda with... in comes Magadansky, so big breath of fire on Magadansky's Gargoyles. Gargoyles do go into stone form. That's going to block off some of Renaud's tanks, though, and now we've got a little bit of a 2v1 going on. Renaud is losing these tanks pretty rapidly, though. Duck focusing on what he considers the most important part of this right now. He is going to back up a little bit. He has lost pretty much all of his units except for a few Gargoyles, and Renaud at this point just trying to take down buildings. He's not even worried about fighting straight up. Magadansky trying to keep what units he can alive, and Duck going around just trying to kill off these tanks because he knows that's what the biggest threat for him right now is. His heroes do have the advantage over all the other heroes, so if he can manage to take down the tanks and prevent his base from being killed, he's going to be in a lot better shape than he will if he cannot kill those tanks off.
And interesting to note is Renaud is actually building units at home, and he's not building more tanks, he's building Spellbreakers. A little interesting tech switch here to end the game with.
Yep, and that would almost certainly be because they cannot be hit by the the Panda. Panda is extremely strong at this point, and one of Duck's best units, so if he can switch over to just heroes and Spellbreakers, that's going to help him out a lot, because these tanks did go down pretty quickly, although it does appear that Duck has somewhat given up on it and is trying to make him TP out of here. Magadansky not doing a whole lot at this point. He is keeping on some pressure, and big Breath of Fire Lich combo. A lot of Gargoyles are going down. Doesn't help that Renaud hit it with a few tank rallies. So at this point, it's just Duck trying to get out with as much as he can. Death Knight does have enough for about 5 more coils on it with the mana regen. Panda is going to have only 1 more Breath of Fire, but that should be enough to take that tank down. And nice job by the Lich using the Gargoyles that were, I believe that was one of the animated dead Gargoyles, although that may have been an alive one to get some more mana back on the Lich. Does pop off that potion vulnerability. We do have a few Spellbreakers coming in here, and it does look like the Paladin will be running out of mana relatively shortly, although not in the immediate future. I don't like that Magadansky is keeping these Gargoyles so close to Duck's heroes.
So low on health. He was trying to get a stone form surround, it looked like, but it wasn't going to happen.
Yep, nice staff there by Renaud, getting that out of there. Somewhat surprised that Duck isn't trying to just take down a Griffin Rider really quick here. He could with the nuke relatively easily at this point.
Right.
Only one more heal left on the Paladin, so this Mountain King could be in trouble, but it does have the TP. So there goes that heal. He is free to focus down the heroes a little bit more now if he should so choose to do so. Actually, we do not have a heal on the Death Knight, though. Never mind, Death Knight just used the potion. Mana did get off another heal. Lich looking pretty low, though. Gonna have to use that next heal. Pops the potion of vulnerability. Good job switching that over. That was a quick move by him and gets the heal off on it. So now Paladin and the Death Knight both do not really have a whole lot going on. Magadansky just trying to kill Duck's buildings at this point. His only chance of this will be to get a base kill win, or he might just be trying to suicide at this point.
He did kill the Griffin, and also he did put those to use. He killed...
Ooh, nice staff on the Paladin. Just gets it out in the nick of time. Well done, Renaud. And he is going to have to kite this Lich. Nice job using the Frost Armor at this point, because both do have the melee attack, so unless he gets a really lucky stun, MK does have another 10 mana left before he can do so. I'm surprised the Death Knight isn't trying to do some blocking here. Paladin is going to be able to get a little bit of a slowdown here, however... Lich is not looking in good shape. There goes that one stun. The Frost Armor doing a lot of help for Duck at this point. He would have been dead without that. There we go. Nice little block by the Death Knight. Death Knight will be able to heal the Lich before it dies. And down goes one more Gargoyle from Magadansky. And we're looking very low on the Mountain King. Mountain King is going to be forced to TP out now. Not going to be able to take down that Alchemist before the teleportation goes off.
That was a pretty intense sequence there. Duck did lose all of his units except for 3 heroes. He tried to save a Frost Worm in the corner, but Maga found it with his remaining gargoyles.
Yep.
And Maga pretty much lost, well, most of his gargs except for those 3 there in the left side.
And he did lose his Frost Worm, which was the most critical thing. He is bringing back this Death Knight, though. It's hard to tell. Magadansky has 60 gold now. Should he be able to produce one more Alkalite, though, I would not be surprised if he started unsummoning stuff to gain his other hero back. That's probably his only chance at this point. He does have 2 Banshees left. I'm not sure if he knows that it's there, if they are there or not. And he is sending the Infernal to Duck's base, so this does look like he's in the mood for a little bit of a suicide now.
Yeah, and he did sell some buildings to get his Death Knight back, which he's getting precariously low at this point. I mean, he's got 7 buildings up here, and then just a few proxy buildings. But I mean, it's a risk he has to take.
Yeah, you're not going to win by just having buildings. So, while I'm sure it's not what he'd like to do, you can understand that there is a need for it. And I'm guessing that we'll see some nice anti-magic shield coming from these Banshees. It does look like he does remember them. And he was, in fact, just keeping them over here so they weren't transmuted and they'd be hard to find.
And Infernal is a really good spell to have at this point for him. And it's really the only thing that I would say gives him any hope to winning the game. Infernal just destroys buildings so quickly, and it's so hard to kill.
And I'm not sure if you caught it on the chat. Maga was saying that he would help take down Renaud. Duck would prefer to just have the 1v1. No shit. So it'll be interesting to see what we go from here. Magadansky's Infernal just running around, and Maga saying, well, if you're not going to help me, Team Renaud, then I'm just going to kill you. Bunch of tanks coming in here. I actually think that they got way too far ahead of his main army here. I don't like that by Renaud here. I like the idea of just going for the base kill. I think that's the smartest thing at this point, but he's going to allow a few free Breath of Fires on these tanks, and they're going to have to be either staffed out or lost before he can do the damage he'd like to. Does lose 1 tank carelessly here. It looks like he does have 3 staffs, so he should only lose 1 tank overall at this point. Is focusing pretty hard on these heroes, and the Spellbreakers coming in and doing a lot of damage in the form of mana being taken away. Magadansky's Infernal is helping to attack Renaud at this point, so Maga teaming properly.
I wish that Renaud had split his tanks there. The Panda, is not very helpful when it's only Breath of Firing 1 tank at a time.
Yep, exactly.
He kept targeting them all. He obviously had them all in one group. And was just right-clicking on buildings.
He is doing a nice job of staffing, though, throughout the entire fight. Renaud has only lost 1 unit, and that was a tank. He got that Spellbreaker out of there, so a nice job on his part, keeping these units alive as long as possible. Does look like he's probably going to lose another Spellbreaker right now. Nope, does get a nice heal off on it. Can we talk about the fact that it's bullshit that they're magic immune, but healing works on them?
Yeah, well, and you can staff mechanical units also in tanks. That's something I wish... But that's because I play Elf. So
We do see that Magadansky is bringing back this Lich, so I think both players are unaware that he is going to have all 3 heroes. I would not be surprised to see the Lich and Death Knight hide somewhere. And this could play out into Magadansky's hand should they basically suicide each other late game. It'll take somewhat of a hope, a prayer, and a miracle in order for Magadansky to pull it off, but it certainly wouldn't be the first time we've seen it.
No, definitely not. Maga's no stranger to situations like this, and he seems to win a lot of games like this, so I'd say he's got the experience to pull this one out.
Yeah, just looking around, I see 7 total buildings for Duck. I see a couple of gargoyles over there, but I see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Magadansky, and a lot for Renaud. So at this point, I think they need to somehow take the fight to Renaud's base. Combine Death and Decay with Infernal and Panda, that's going to take even a human base down pretty quickly. So
right.
The fact that they keep letting Renaud come to them and take the fight against them 1v1, really well played on Renaud's part, but the Undeads need to go ahead and try and make this happen any way possible, and that may be taking it to his base. They do face the risk of having tanks in their base while they are doing this. Nice use of Animate Dead here by Duck, by the way.
And, I mean, I understand your point, but Duck is in a really tough position here, because if he leaves, he doesn't have any proxy buildings as far as I can tell. So if he leaves that base, I mean, this can be no time at all before he's eliminated, and he knows that.
I agree, but I don't think he's going to be able to win at the rate he's going right now, unless he forces Renaud to lose both of his heroes or something, but even then I don't think that would do it. Nice surround on the Lich by Renaud here. I don't see any way that the Lich is going to be able to get out of this. Even, there we go, does pop potion vulnerability, and Renaud makes a terrible choice of getting out of there. So Renaud should have kept it surrounded, but did not. Well done by Duck passing that over there. Just a good choice on Duck's part, poor choice on Renaud's part. Doesn't look like it's going to affect Renaud terribly. We do see a nice Cyclone go off on the Alchemist, although it's not going to help him out too much. Renaud appears to continue to dominate this fight so far. We're going to see a bolt on this Lich very soon, I believe. Nope, backs off there, so not entirely. I guess he's going to continue and just try and take down the buildings. I'm not really sure what the game plan here is for Renaud, but Renaud appears to have some idea of what he wants to do at least. Not killing the Lich being at the top of it. He is getting these tanks to go ahead and kill the buildings while Duck is focusing on his army, so maybe that's his game plan right now. Alchemist is going to be forced to teleport out of here, though, due to... nope, Paladin had men. I'm not entirely sure why Alchemist TP'd out of there.
Yeah, Renaud lost a lot of Spellbreakers there that he really didn't need to. I would love to see him surround more, especially with Spellbreakers. It's a... I don't want to seem
ideal.
Like Renaud is bad, but it's not a difficult unit to surround with, so I hope he works on that in the future.
I mean, micro has never been the strong point of Renaud's game. He makes no
I agree.
attempt to hide that, so while it might seem with a player like Yaws like it's second nature, with Renaud it probably isn't. And instead you get these smart actions like Renaud did manage to take down 4 buildings while he was just chasing around Duck. I still think he should have taken down at least Duck's Lich and probably more than just that. But late game, if you can building kill, that's just as good as out-microing your opponent.
Right. And I'm very confused I mean, is Duck...
What is that?
Purposely attacking?
Can you not hear that?
No, I don't hear it.
I'm convinced that...
I hear it now.
Of the American
Right.
It's gotta be a Skype
The guys
commercial.
who get it done rely on the
I
Ford
guess so.
F-150
Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause
more
this.
than any other truck.
We are sorry about this commercial. I'm going to pause at 22:55.
Good mileage, but they're
So
rugged and they
we don't
seem
miss
to
a whole lot.
last extremely well in the field.
Okay, I'm just going to wait till this goes away. For those that are listening, we are very sorry to have this going on. We promise we're not trying to advertise.
Certain reasons why we
Oh,
use
it is
the
a
Ford
goddamn
product
commercial.
I thought so, because it's very faint in my ears, so I thought it must be on your end.
Yeah, it's a Skype commercial. That's weird. Why do we have commercials on Skype now? This is terrible. Okay. So I am at 22:55. Are you ready to go?
Just give me a second here. Okay, yeah, I'm at 22:55.
Alright. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so we do have a fight going on jointly between Duck and Magadansky against Renaud. Renaud sending his tanks out to go kill Duck. Duck has caught on, though, and as a result, I don't believe that Renaud is going to be able to do much. We should see a big Death and Decay come in from at least Magadansky, probably more, and Renaud has actually switched these to go to Magadansky's base, it looks like. So Magadansky could be in a lot of trouble very quickly, and Duck is kind of playing it safe here while Magadansky is going for the more aggressive approach. Magadansky does have more proxy building, so he's got a little bit more life to play with.
Yeah, and I mean, Duck has 3 buildings, so he doesn't really have much breathing room, to say lightly.
Yep, that's completely fair, especially because 2 of them are half-life already, so. Renaud actually does not send the tanks in, so I'm kind of surprised to see that. Here we go. So Duck has let Magadansky know that the tanks were there, and they may run right into... Nope, Magadansky is going to miss them, so lucky for Renaud that the tanks do not come into Magadansky's line of sight, otherwise they would go down rather quickly.
Yeah, I would love to see Renaud move out. Okay, he is moving out now.
And I believe he may go ahead and split. I would not be surprised to see the tanks just idle here for a little bit while Magadansky goes to Duck's base and tries to take out both of them at the same time, basically. It does look like... I don't know. I can't... Yep, there we go. So Renaud is going to go ahead and idle. It does look like he's actually going towards Magadansky's base. Hidden heroes are not going to be a whole lot of surprise when the Spellbreakers cannot be invisible, though.
Right, right.
So here we go. It does look like Magadansky's going to be forced to come back, I believe. Nope, he's going to continue on to Renaud's base, so he's going to let that one go by the waist. Nope, there we go. Come back now. Renaud just waiting to ambush Magadansky, basically. We'll see how that goes for him, but the tanks are quickly taking care of Magadansky's base, and Renaud finally sees Magadansky come into view here. Is going to lose this Griffin Rider very quickly. Nope, off goes the heal. Nice job by Renaud. Renaud does get sleep cast on the Paladin. Let's see how quickly he can wake it up, followed by that stun from the Infernal. Can the Paladin... Yep, there we go. Paladin does manage to get off his Divine Shield, so Magadansky or Renaud in no danger of dying quickly now. Stun goes off on the Death Knight. Death Knight could be surrounded here, does not get it off, so Renaud is very close to managing to kill this. Sleep goes off on the Mountain King.
Oh
Magadansky's excellent micro coming out to play here, and it could be the Alchemist killing it off. Down goes the Death Knight, so Magadansky in bad shape. He is going to have to focus on these tanks and try and get them down, though, because of the fact that even if he manages to kill off Renaud's heroes, if his unit or if his buildings die, he is going to be out of this. But not having the Death Knight is going to be a major problem. I can see his heroes going down instantaneously to these combinations of heroes from Renaud. Magadansky gives this up for dead, does staff out that tank, so he's not going to lose it. And Maga is a little bit annoyed that Duck does not come to help him at this point.
And I really think... I mean, I'm nitpicking. Obviously, we're watching the replay. We have full map vision, but if Renaud had just like put a tank at the left side of the map so that he could tank the last 3 buildings when Duck moved out, I think that would have been a really smart play.
Yep. I think that's actually what Duck was worried about, was the fact that Renaud had done that. It's why we didn't see him go. I like that Duck is using his Panda's ultimate so early and often in this. Cyclone, one of the best things you can do against a human player. Unfortunately, Renaud is very quickly going ahead and using Divine Shield on Paladin, not waiting for the Paladin to get Cycloned. While this is going on, we do see that tank is continuing to chip away at Magadansky. Infernal is going to kill it. So nice job by Magadansky. Duck's Death Knight not looking good right now. I can see it going down momentarily, I think. Does manage to get a...
Oh my gosh, he's not going to kill it.
Nope. So Renaud not doing a good job of hero killing in this game so far. That's what I can take away. Death Knight is going to get away. He has to be a little bit worried that his Lich is going to be hit. The Lich is left vulnerable here. Going to chase after the Death Knight instead, though. And Magadansky bringing in his heroes to help out. So Renaud goes ahead and pops that Potion of Invulnerability. That was not Divine Shield. And he's going to have to retreat to his base, it looks like.
Yeah, Oh, and the Paladin might...
Nope, Paladin does get staffed out there. Here we go. This could be the big assault on Renaud's base. Renaud is trapped within it. He does not have any tanks out killing anything, so this is a golden opportunity for Duck and Magadansky to start doing some big damage here.
And 2
Paladin
heroes
has been staffed, so we could see the Mountain King going down very quickly if they can get a concerted nuke off on it. Paladin has another 300 hit points to heal before it can do anything. There we go. We got the one nuke off on the Mountain King. Mountain King running away for his life at this point. We are going to see Breath of Fire. Breath of Fire. There we go. Magadansky gets it with the Dreadlord. So big loss for Renaud there because of the fact that he cannot stun any longer. I mean, he's lost his main form of hero killing. Not that he was doing a whole lot of it before, but he is not going to be able to revive it without selling some items, although he should be able to sell something like the protection in order to get it back. They're doing a nice job of just chipping away at this alchemist so it can't get back yet. I won't be surprised if we see...
He should heal it. There he goes. Okay.
Okay. Renaud does manage to get himself out of that. Breath of Fire comes in by Duck. And slowly taking down these buildings. There we go. Death and Decay. No stun to stop this, so it's going to pretty much keep going on until he wants to stop it. Surprised he actually stopped so quickly. Another big Breath of Fire coming in. We hit level 10 Panda, level 10 Lich, level 10 Death King. That is one of the rewards. Death Knight, sorry about that. He is the Death King at this point.
You're right, he is.
We do see the Mountain King, or Mountain Knight, depending on how you want to play this game of Warcraft, is being revived currently. Magadansky just sending out Infernals. He is trying to guard this last... he has unsummoned the last building, so he is trying to guard that Alkalite, I suppose. And the Death Knight is on the way back for Magadansky. Renaud could lose his last tank here. I do not see a hero able to get down to staff it in time. There we go. Does get it out just in the nick of time, because that is his last tank, and that could play a crucial role later on if you can split that up from the rest of your units.
Definitely. I think Renaud should just run towards Duck's base. I mean, Duck has to retreat. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I've got to somewhat agree, especially because you don't see Magadansky nearby, and as human you can staff your heroes back. If he's presuming Magadansky only has 2 heroes, he could just staff back. Actually, I guess he's waiting for the Mountain King. I bet he'll do that after. But you could just staff the Paladin Mountain King, and that's pretty much able to hold off the heroes indefinitely until you are able to run the rest of your army back.
Right,
and so maybe once the Mountain King comes out.
With boots, plus he can go into his rage, he can get across the map pretty quickly.
Absolutely. We do see Magadansky has found the extra town halls that Renaud has, and he's starting to kill those. So nice job by Magadansky just staying aware on that and using his extra gargoyle to scout that.
Yeah, Maga's playing this really well. Obviously just a few buildings left, but that Infernal is proving to be invaluable.
So here we go, we got the Mountain King coming in here, going to go ahead and bolt this Lich. The Death Knight has not come back yet, so this could be very bad news for Magadansky. There is no aura on them. Fortunately, the Mountain King has been sleeped and did not get off very quickly.
Yes.
Slept.
I know. It happens when you're casting.
Often and frequently.
I don't mean just you, just in general.
So nice job by the Dreadlord getting sleep off on that Mountain King.
Yeah, I wish Renaud would cancel it a little quicker, but, you know, I'm one to talk because I hardly ever cancel sleep very efficiently.
Yep, I completely agree. We do have this tank going towards Duck's base. I'm guessing that with Duck's heroes... Duck has scouted the tank, and he is going to go ahead and say, I'm getting the hell out of here. Do get the stun off on the Death Knight. Very quick reaction time, getting both the invulnerability, but also getting that shield on it earlier. That made a pretty big difference there. Lich is going to get split up. Death Knight is going to go ahead and just chill there, trying to get himself baited. Is going to run away in time, and Renaud is going to get this tank into Duck's base. We'll see how much damage this does. I'm surprised he's not following it with the hero to staff it out, because it is so valuable.
I have to agree. If he loses the tank, it's going to be a really big blow to his chances at winning. And I wonder, can Magus see this with his gargoyles? No, just out of vision. Yeah,
I don't believe he can. So Magadansky coming this way as well. He has so interesting little cyclone on the Mountain King here. I don't believe Duck's going to be able to do much against Renaud's entire army.
The tank does go down. Well, he's trying to run it, but that's not ever going to work.
So a little too late on the tank, Renaud. Probably should have had a hero around to take care of that. However, the Panda could be an interesting... it's got another 20 seconds or so. So Renaud pretty much just can be forced to back off here. I really disagree with that choice there. I think the idea behind it was good, but I would have liked to see the entire army go, or at least a single hero like the Alchemist that can run quickly.
Right, the execution was a bit off, but the idea was there.
Yep, and he's going to go ahead and hit Magadansky now, figuring there's no need to try and play nice. If he can take down this building, that'll be a pretty big blow to Maga. Maga saying, yeah, I don't like the fact that Renaud's hitting me now.
Yeah, and I this is a good move by Renaud. Ideally, he wants to finish Duck, because once it gets to 1 versus 1, he shouldn't have a problem winning at this point.
I was going to say, if he can take out anybody at this point, then he's in good shape. I think he might figure that they're going to camp too much around Duck, and he could get off a free few
Definitely.
cheap ones. I'd almost like to see him scouting with this Griffin and not including it in his army. I don't think that... Well, actually, I'm surprised it hasn't gone down yet. But I don't think it's doing a whole lot of good for him, and I think it could do more good by finding out where the remaining bases are. This Paladin looking very low. No! Alright, so
Griffin's down, though.
Does lose the Griffin, and forced to burn his TP, which that was the last TP in the game, I believe. And unless he wants to sell some stuff off to get it, then it's going to stay that way. Duck has bought the Staff of Teleportation on his Pandarian Brewmaster, so a good idea on that one. And hopefully we'll see him take advantage of that. He may just leave the Death Knight and Lich within his base to guard it, and TP in and out with that Panda.
Definitely. It's not going to come as in handy now that there's no more tanks.
Yeah.
But it's still a good idea to have that.
And I didn't see, I think he just bought it, but maybe he had it earlier. Magadansky can go ahead and lead in with this Infernal. He knows that the Paladin has been stunned, so there is not going to be any heal. In fact, there's not going to be a TP. The MK will be able to staff it. Going to go ahead and surround that Paladin. This could be very bad news. Nice job getting it away again, and you can see Renaud trying to heal it with the Alchemist. Not going to be able to do that. Alchemist going down very close to death. We shall see. Staffs that off too. I'm not sure how much good it's going to do, though. They cannot have any magic hurt them. However, that Alchemist is going to go down. I believe that the Paladins can take a little bit more finagling to get down. However, it is very quickly getting hit by this Infernal, doing a massive amount of damage between the MK and the Infernal. Paladin looking very low, and Renaud's chances are not looking very good right now. If he loses this, he's not going to have a whole lot to sell off with the Mountain King. In fact, it looks like he's not even going to bother try. He's just going to try and kite away Magadansky. Does not work. Down goes the Paladin. Terrible, terrible
very bad
tragedy for Renaud's chances of winning right now.
And this is a common mistake that players make in base race situations, is you don't necessarily need to defend your base. You get into this habit of feeling like you have to defend, and against higher or strong heroes, especially against undead heroes that nuke so well, you really just want to pull them away from your base by going after their buildings.
Which Renaud did really well early on. It looks like Renaud is now looking for the other buildings to try and get them down. I'm not sure if he is running at this point. It does look like we're going to have a little bit of an alliance with Duck and Renaud. The right choice at this point, probably. I suspect it's going to come down to one hero or one building for every player. Renaud does continue to have the most buildings left, and they are human buildings. However, his heroes are obviously at a massive disadvantage right now. Magadansky going ahead and hitting Duck with his Gargoyles. I'm not sure if Duck is even noticing at this point. Does get a surround on the Death Knight. It looks like, nope. Or sorry, the Dreadlord. Dreadlord going to get away here. We will see if he can pull off the joint surround. It's a little bit harder, and the Dreadlord is going to go down, it looks like. Not sure who killed him off. I think it was Duck, so we're down to one hero for Renaud, two for Magadansky, and we shall soon see Duck teamed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, very good play by Duck. That Dreadlord was the most important hero in the game at this point, in my opinion. And let's see what's going to happen next here. Renaud looks like he's going for Maga, which is, I don't know. I don't know what the best move is in this situation, actually.
I was going to say, you feel like you could probably take down Duck's base at this point, although he doesn't have any great hero killing stuff, or building killing. Probably fears Duck's heroes the most, fears the fact that he doesn't know where all of Magadansky's buildings are, and the fact that he upgraded one of them to Halls of the Dead, really going to help him out because it'll slow that attack down very, very well. The other two buildings, purely an altar and a ziggurat. He has a hidden statue and a hidden alkalite as well, so maybe he'll be able to sell some stuff off to grab a ziggurat at the end. Renaud continuing to go ahead and build an altar, going to try and get that hero back, at least one of them, probably the Paladin. Although, who knows, it could be whatever. he should have enough gold to revive one of them if he sells off the boots, or maybe he'll have enough as is.
Sorry, one of us had another commercial. It was very loud.
That one wasn't me. That was you. I
That
didn't
was
hear
me.
that.
Thanks for covering for so long. I pulled my mic away so you
no
wouldn't
worries.
hear it.
We are going to have a quick nuke on this Mountain King. The Mountain King looking not good right now. We'll see if Magadansky manages to get it down, but I do believe he is.
Oh, wow.
Down goes that Mountain King, so Mountain King is out of this now. He is going to have to choose which hero he wants to bring back. Spellbreakers are going ahead and just chipping away at this altar, though. So if he doesn't pay attention, he may lose that quickly. Duck with the only one with his full hero continent left. We shall see if that plays a role, or if Duck manages to lose his buildings. He's got a combined 1,400, so if Magadansky uses Death and Decay on that, then I suspect that's what Duck is fearing most. Magadansky can go ahead and get a Death and Decay off in the middle of Renaud's base. At this point, he figures Renaud does not have any heroes. He's scouting around to see if there's a hidden altar. Nice job by Renaud moving it away from where it could be easily visible. Duck going to go ahead and kill off Magadansky's remaining base, it looks like.
Yeah, smart play here by Duck, and also smart by Renaud, hiding that altar. Unfortunately, doesn't have enough gold, but, you know, again, good idea. Not quite execution. Isn't quite there, but...
I was going to say, not a whole lot he can do at this point, but
right.
It is a nice, well-played move on his part. I'm curious what's going to go on. I think Magadansky has to go for Duck's base. I think it's going to be a race to see who can take that down first. I think... Yep, Death and Decay. I think that Magadansky's going to kill off Duck before... Nope, Magadansky going back towards Renaud.
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do here.
He might actually be selling off some stuff. I bet he's going to take that Alkalite and build a hidden Ziggurat.
Right, yeah. Smart play by Maga.
Yep. My instinct would certainly be to go for a Duck, and getting in a full Necropolis, actually. However, Duck is going to be right in the area. He's going to see that Alkalite, and that's going to be bad news bears for Magadansky.
Wow.
Going to kill off the Necropolis, and he no longer has that Alkalite. He does have a Banshee. Maybe he can go possess a human worker somewhere if he can find one, but I don't see any remaining workers from any player on the board. Magadansky going to go ahead and kill off the remaining parts of Duck's base and hope that he can get that done before anything else finishes. At this point, it's a base race between our two undead players who are both in the best position to win right now.
Yeah, and Renaud does have a peasant. It's mining gold from the center mine. It's long-distance mining to his natural expansion.
Okay, we do see Duck did get his hero back here, and he is going to bring in the panda as well, so Magadansky not easily going to be able to kill all this off. He is going purely for the base kill at this point. Cyclone going to be a bitch for Magadansky to deal with. I believe that this is going to be a good game for Magadansky. I know that's like the 5th time I've said this. However, I don't see him recovering from this one. He is continuing to attack both buildings, though, so Lich actually going to be able to take this down, I think. We shall see, but he's got one Lich, one Gargoyle. Down goes the Death Knight. This is going to be very close until the end.
Oh my gosh.
I bet we see Cyclone from the Panda going off on the Lich. It's coming down to the wire. Oh, and Renaud brings in his Breakers. Breakers going to kill it off. So Breakers are going to be the good game move for him right there. And so we have Duck is getting knocked out of this. 2 Breakers for Renaud. Renaud eventually going to get enough to bring back 1 hero. Magadansky with a single Gargoyle, probably not going to be taking down the entirety of his base. So
this is too funny.
Renaud is going to win this by default almost, I think.
Well, Maga has a statue, a Banshee, and a Gargoyle.
That sounds like a bad joke.
It does, but wow, Renaud just has too many buildings.
What beautiful timing on Renaud's part, though. I mean, this is why we wanted to cast this game. It's such a beautiful end game to cast. You can see all 3 players played so incredibly well. This early game certainly wasn't it. Magadansky does upgrade this to a Destroyer, actually, so he is not going to be able to attack the Spellbreaker, but he is going to have a unit should he somehow miraculously kill off the main part of Renaud's base. However, how incredibly painful is it that Magadansky was able to not kill off the remainder of his base. I think his Lich died with about 15 hit points left on Duck. If he had kept that Lich alive, it would have been a completely different ballgame. So that was just everything not working out for Magadansky. On the other hand, Renaud is probably only 30 gold away, or 10 minutes of mining from managing to kill everything off.
Well, and Renaud actually still could lose because that Gargoyle can't be killed, and the Gargoyle can kill the Breakers. But I believe the Breakers will kill the Ziggurat.
I'm thinking you're probably correct on that. And I think that he probably is not going to be able to find this peasant in time. I think that Renaud will grab a hero should he manage to have the breakers killed off, but the breakers have enough armor that they're not going to go down very quickly. I think Magadansky and Renaud are basically saying, how in the fuck did this happen?
Yeah, I've never seen an ending quite like this, and I've played Warcraft a very long time, way too long.
And there we have it. That is
What
good game. So wow, I mean, a hell of a finish, a hell of a last hour. Well played to all our players within this. I'm on the score screen currently. You can see Duck did manage to grab the high score, so he will get 11 points. Renaud was a sub in this match, actually, so he will get 0 points. Magadansky will grab 10, and Meeds will get 5. I mean, look at those heroes. We've got 3 10s, 4 8s, a 9, a 7, and then Meeds heroes, which were obviously tomed a little bit earlier on. I still am just recovering from that. I mean, what a great finish to a game.
And I can't even talk. It was a really great finish. Really long game, but you know, if you have the time, it's worth a watch.
Yep, it's moments like these that make Free For All the best game type to exist.
But I would have to agree. There was a lot of great micro we saw in that game, a lot of great macro, and just overall great decision making by Renaud and also by Maga at a lot of parts in that game. And I'm sure Duck did too. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I mean, he played really well as well. So
yep, I mean, if
definitely can't take anything away from either.
Renaud's breakers hadn't been there, if they hadn't been breakers, then Duck easily could have had that game. I mean, Renaud only had those breakers left at the end of the game. He got lucky they were magic immune. If they had been anything else, then they easily could have died, and it would have been a completely different ballgame. We might have said that what a fantastic game. Duck won with only 10 hit points left on his building.
Or with only having 3 buildings left for the last, like, 30 minutes.
Yep, exactly.
How often do you see that? So,
all right.
Anything else you need to add to this?
Nope. That pretty much covers what I got. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
Good luck to the remaining players. All of them are still alive in the season, so good luck to all them.
Yep. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like us on Facebook at facebook.com/freeforallmasters. You're obviously watching this on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe to our account. Once we get to 100 subscribers, we'll be able to stream via YouTube, and you can always watch our live matches at twitch.tv/freeforallmasters league. That's twitch.tv/freeforallmasters league. This is Mage.
And this is Mog.
Signing off.